So now I want you to flip the image over really quickly and we'll just see how we did. Everybody's is gonna look a little bit goofy, but it's also gonna look okay. You're gonna be shocked at how good it looks in some ways, I think. Okay, I'm gonna continue shading a little, squinting, putting in some shading where I feel it needs it. Once you feel comfortable with where these black lines are, you can fill these in. Super, super black. And filling in a black line can be a really good way for an artist to tell where to compare all the other values, because everything is going to be less black than this black. This is just straight black. So it's a great, putting in a black and finding exactly where the black goes is a great way to help you out and figure out your values for the rest of the painting. The other thing I want you to do is just close one eye and look at this painting. Now realize whatever eye you closed is most likely going to, the eye that's open is going to be your dominant eye. And that's just something for a future lesson. We can talk about dominant eyes, where like if you like were to close your, go ahead and close your left eye and then close your right eye. And you see how, just keep doing that. Close your left eye and then close your right eye. See how it changes where what you're looking at is. Like if you close your left eye, it's over here. If I close my right eye, it's hopped over here. Okay. All right. Okay. So when I squint, I see that this area and this area and this are my lightest of lights. So I'm going to make sure to keep those areas really light and just put a little bit of shading in between everything else. If I know where there's a dark, I can add a little bit of dark. Yeah, I definitely made some mistakes even with my upside down drawing. Okay. All right. And now you can take your finger and smudge. Okay. So the more you smudge, the more things start to look kind of like they're a part of the same painting. You see how everything just kind of came together, and there's a lot more depth that you can kind of start to get a hint at. So now what I want you to do, we're just gonna layer in a couple more darks. I'm gonna make her eyes a little bit darker. I'm gonna pull out her, maybe I'll sharpen. After you do that much shading, it's usually good to sharpen for a second. Okay. Okay, a great way to see where the edge of her lip is to run a line up to her eye. And you can tell that her lip ends here and the edge of her iris is here. If it's just straight, straight, straight. And then at the other side, you can tell that the edge of this lip meets up with the edge of this iris, or of this eye. So that's a great way to just kind of give you an idea of where that lip needs to end. Notice there's usually like a little dip right in the middle, just barely with her, really barely. And then because she's at an angle, you can see a little bit of a downward part right there. And again, I'm pretty much skipping over that bottom lip because it's so bright. But I do have a dark shade shadow underneath the lip that I want to address. And so I'm just going to make that abstract shadow look a little bit more like the shape of that shadow, which looks kind of like that. Okay. I'm going to touch up her nose a little, but it looks good. Noses are so tricky. A lot of people say do the nose first, because if you get the nose first, then everything else will fall into place.